Okay, don't know why that happened. So, there we go. Okay. So you get, if you're in St. Albans or somewhere way up north, you can have totality for like 3.5 minutes. The further away you get from that, the less time you have. And there's a partial phase before and after totality. There we go. Here's the path. The eclipse starts out in the South Pacific. Oh, look at this, it works. Goes across, hits Mexico. When it hits Mexico, that shadow is traveling at about 1,500 miles per hour. Zoom it across the country. It goes through 12 states before it hits us in Vermont. By the time it hits us in Vermont, it's traveling like 2,600 miles per hour, which is why it lasts only 3 minutes. And by the time it gets to Newfoundland and out to sea in the Atlantic, it's 4,000 to 5,000 miles per hour because of the curvature of the Earth and all the geometry of the orbits. But it'd be a great thing. If you miss this one, the next total eclipse in Vermont won't be till 2079. So let's hope we see it. Yeah, we'll see you there. A little more close up of the path. If you are within these two blue lines, you will see totality. Anywhere outside, you will see partial only. So you can see the dead center line goes right through the top of Vermont, just barely. There we go. So again, there's a center line, there's a lower limit. So if you're in Middlebury or Barrie, you better head north. Anything below here is partial. Bennington, for instance, will see a 96% partial eclipse, but that's it. So and I've never seen a total eclipse. I've seen several partials. The people I've talked to have seen total eclipses say it's awesome, it's moving, it's spiritual, nothing like you've ever experienced before. Because all of a sudden the sky goes dark and you see the sun goes away. Pretty cool. Here's some timing you can see. So up here in St. Albans, 3 minutes, 34 seconds this way. The further away you get, the time drops for the amount of totality down to 2 minutes and a half, 2 minutes. If you're on this borderline here, we're talking seconds of totality and then eventually no totality. So they expect a lot of people to come to upper part of Vermont. You know, roads could be blocked. People are saying stay off the interstate because you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be, could be a mess if it's clear. Yeah, people have asked us in the club, why did you schedule this for a Monday afternoon? We wanted to. Where to look? I got things here. I got to get rid of this. I guess I can't. Southwest, basically. If you have a clear view from your house to the southwest part of the sky, about halfway up, then you can see totality. You'll see the eclipse. It'll start about 49, 50 degrees high. It'll drop down when it's total, it'll be 40 degrees and drop down to 30 because the earth is turning, the sky is moving, the sun is going down and all that. But somewhere that has a good western southwest horizon would be great to be at. I didn't take this, but I wish I did. And what it shows is as the sun is moving across the sky, because the earth turning west to east, the sky moves east to west. But the moon, relative to the sun, is moving west to east. That's why it starts here on one side and slowly creeps across the face of the sun, blocks it up, and then creeps off the other side. Because as the sun's going this way, the moon is slightly going the opposite direction. Pretty cool stuff. This is what we hope to see. That is not the sun. You are looking at the dark side of the moon. Hopefully that's what we'll get. If it's cloudy, it's going to get dark, probably darker than if it's clear out, because it'll all be a dark sky because of the clouds. Don't miss it. Even if it's cloudy, go outside.
That can't be the dark side.
Do you see any light?
No, you can't see the dark side of the moon.
That is the dark side of the moon. Today.
That's the same side we always see.
There's always a light side of the moon and the dark side of the moon. We always see the same side of the moon.
Right.
On the new moon, it's dark because the sun's hitting it from the other way because it's almost in front of the sun. So depending on where it is in orbit, you see partials, you see half, you see gibbous moons. That you're looking at the moon.
And
The-
it's not gonna be totally dark, so you see it earth shine.
No, because if you're in totality, there's no sunshine hitting the earth where you are, bouncing back.
No, there's plenty of sunshine.
Okay,
I've seen
cool.
it.
I stand corrected because I've never done it. This is the corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun. It's like a million times fainter than the surface of the sun, the photosphere. It's the photosphere is just too bright. That's the part you don't want to look at. Anytime during the partial phase, here or this side, you need a viewer, either glasses, pinhole projector, or one of these, which is the viewing material just in a cardboard form because it's easier to pick and look and share with somebody. They don't have to worry about putting it on their heads. If you do not have one, I will give you one. See me after this and I'll give you one. Free. I could sell for $10. No. Anyway, during totality, you don't need this. You don't need anything because if you try to look through this, you won't see it. So only during totality can you look just with your eyes. This is a planetarium program called Stellarium. It's free to download to your computer. I put in a date and time. So right in the center, and you probably can't see it very well from where you are. There's the sun eclipse right there. Here's Venus. Here's Jupiter up here. Come on. If we're lucky, there'll be a comet right about here. Comet, I forget the Pons something. Anyways, there may be a comet visible. And you may see some brighter stars. Down, if you have a low horizon, Saturn and Mars. So you may see some planets, may see some bright stars. There's a member of our club who went out to California years ago, and that eclipse lasted 7 minutes. It was a very good eclipse. He said it was so dark he could see the Milky Way. That's pretty dark. That's pretty cool. It won't be quite like that here. They say around for this eclipse, it may look more like twilight, dark, maybe dark twilight. It'll be dark overhead. The horizon, you'll see light around the horizon. It'll be really weird. The whole thing of getting dark at 3:30 in the afternoon is going to be strange. There are very varied filters you can use. Like things like this can go in the front of your telescope. They can go on your binoculars. Of course, you get the glasses that are everywhere these days. We bought this. This is a welder's glass shade 14, which I have used in the past. The club is not recommending them because of controversy as if they're really safe or not. So we're just avoiding that altogether. Now, this is what if you get a filter, if you have a telescope, has to go on the front of your telescope, the front of your binoculars, the front of your camera. Oops, whatever you have, it's got to be on the front. If this one on this telescope, they took the little finder scope off because I had one on my scope, and even though I had a cap, when I wasn't looking during a partial eclipse, the little guy went over, he tried to look through it. If he had taken the caps off and looked, you would have burned a hole inside. So just take those things right off. And then again, this is our viewer, and glad to give you one. Partial phase, you need filters, front and after, but not during totality. Can't wait to see it. One of our club members, he's the chairman of our eclipse committee. He's been doing presentations with me, and he's advising folks, if it's cloudy, go outside anyway. Go near the woods and see how the animals react. Watch the birds go to rooster, whatever they do. You know, your pets may react a certain way. Cows may start to come home and all that. You know, the animals do react to the sunlight going away. I probably will. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Why am I talking about HAM-SCI? Yes, I'm a ham. Yes, I have a license. You probably never heard of me. I have a rig in my car that I rarely use, but I can't get rid of my license. I just liked it too much. There's two reasons why I'm here doing this. being president years ago, I started a little program called the Presidential Brunch, where I would every month at our meetings, I would pick a name at random and have brunch with whoever member I picked out to get to know, is the club doing what you need them to do? Are you learning what you want to do? Are you having fun? Tell me about yourself. Do you have a scope? You know, the whole thing. Just have a good time. Well, I had one with a ham astronomer. And I'll tell you why this person is a ham astronomer. The other reason is I mentioned this HAM-SCI thing at the January RANV breakfast. Next thing I know, I'm signed up to do this. So, am I an expert? No. I thought it was very interesting. Ham radio is being used to determine stuff during an eclipse. I brought it up, and here I am. This is Mary Lou West, KC2NMC, and that's me. We're having our presidential brunch together. Having brunch with somebody's grandmother who knows way more than I do was a lot of fun. She is a retired astrophysicist. So she knows a lot about the sky, science, and everything. From Cornell, Columbia University. She's into meteorites, cosmic rays, galactic structure was a whole big thing all by itself, physics education. And she said she worked regularly with students on research projects. And after retirement, she's still doing that. And now some of her students is her boss, working on projects. That's kind of cool. So we got to talking about it. HAM-SCI, Ham Radio Science Citizen Investigation. The purpose of promoting advanced scientific research using amateur radio activities. Cool. And encourage the development of new technologies and provide educational opportunities to the hams and anybody else who wants to know. What a great idea, using ham radio for science during an eclipse. They are going to have festivals of eclipse ionosphere science. Festivals, activities. They're going to do ham activities to investigate what happens to the ionosphere due to the eclipse. They're going to have multiple events and science research from multiple U.S. universities, like these guys, some of whom they have apparently ham stations at their colleges. I don't know much more than that, but no. So there's a lot of smart people interested in this, and they want ham radio help. So they're going to have contests using 6 to 160 meters. They're going to do research, events, space. This is confusing. Is it personal space weather station, or is it a personal space weather station? I think it's both. And then additional events along the way. So let's talk about some of these. They're going to do a contest, the Solar Eclipse QSO party, using CWFT4, SSB, and other stuff. And then there's going to be a signal spotting challenge also. And there's rules and regulations on how to do this and how the format and all that. So the Solar Eclipse party. Oh, there's another activity. I'm sorry. Time delay of arrival. I'm not really sure what that's all about and how you determine that, but there's descriptions on the website about this. I'm not doing this myself because I'm too busy doing other stuff during the eclipse, but all the explanation of what to do is on their website. And then there's the GRAPE Personal Space Weather Station. GRAPE is Great Radio Amateur Propagation Experiment. That's a mouthful. So you can get these GRAPE 1, GRAPE 2 IF receivers to do this experiment. It's a long-term experiment where you monitor the stations well before the eclipse, during, and well after. So you need a baseline of before and after and find out what happens during it. Then there's the medium wave recording event, where you're recording using software-defined radios, broadcast station emissions, and to see what effects the ionosphere has during the eclipse. And there's a VLF reception exercise. They're still trying to figure out what that is. So the Solar Eclipse QSO party, it's like a ham contest. It's called CQ with SEQP, and you make contact real quick and you try to get a lot of them and get signal strengths and all that. And they did it during the 2023 eclipse, and they're going to do it again this year. They hope to get a lot of data points. So they say millions. Let's hope they get millions. So they need a lot of activity, a lot of input. It will take place on April 8th. It'll start about 3 hours before the eclipse process begins way down in Mexico. So they want to have a baseline before and operate during the whole thing and then afterwards. If you can't operate during the whole entire eclipse, then try to pick a time when it's closest to you, when totality is closest to where you are. Oh, that's what this says. Nearest to your QTH. This website, greatamericaneclipse.com, is really cool because you get on there, they have an animation, shows the eclipse shadow on the earth where it starts in Mexico, travels across the country, and it shows you the time, the speed, and the shape, because it changes, because it's distorting as the earth is curving. This thing distorts along the way, and it's a real cool thing. Who should participate? Basically, everybody. They're really interested in getting folks of the U.S. and North America. But again, radio waves act like they do. They'll take input from hams all over. The more information, the better.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
About what time is the totality around here? And
326.
well, the sun's down in Europe. So if you're on 80 meters, you might get people in Europe.
Cool.
Yeah.
They want to know that.
Yeah, so and they'll be on. Yeah.
The ionosphere is gonna stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, I don't know how it's going to react, but it should be interesting to find out. Yeah. Some requirements. This is kind of seemed odd, but they want all your equipment within a 500-meter circle. So I think that they do that because remote operations permitted, but they don't want you spread out way too far. So 500 meters is quite a ways. Portable, excuse me, is welcome and encouraged, like going to the parks or wherever. No provisions for mobile. Too many variables, I assume, to deal with. So any way you can just get on the air. It's like a social mirrors, a contest. Make as many contacts as you can. QSOs, they want them short like this. Signal report, grid square, and that's pretty much all they want. So you can do more contacts out of, to get more data points. And there's a whole format for logging, which I won't get into, is too involved, but you should need to log your reports, your contacts, and then you send them in and they do whatever they do with them and figure things out. Again,
They probably want real signal reports, not 5.9.
this is what on the website, so that's what I put down. So there's a whole list of rules and things to go to guide you on this. The date and times we talked about, requirements, the different bands, the exchange, scoring, and logging your information. So I can see where this could be a really busy time for some folks. The signal spotting challenge using WSPRnet, PSK reporter, and reverse beacon network, which I knew nothing about until I saw this, for the purpose of ionospheric sounding. So if you, on the website, if you click on those 3 things, it'll bring you to different sites. WSPRnet, amateurs using the digital mode to probe radio frequency propagation conditions using very low power. That's interesting. And if you click on there, you go to that website that I'm not logged in, I didn't log in, but you log in and then however that's used to log your information. And then the PSK reporter to automatically gather reception records of digimode activity, make those records available to whoever's interested. And there's a map that shows activity at the time I looked at this. This can be expanded, so you can expand it right out and see what's going on in New England or Vermont. There's very few little bubbles there, but it shows you the activity that's going on. And then there's the reverse beacon network. Stations listening to bands reporting what stations to hear, when and how well. And you click on this thing that says try it, and it comes up with this nice map showing the links that change. This was on my machine for a little bit, and all of a sudden those connections change as people were picking up and receiving and detecting other stations. So that's kind of a almost real-time kind of reporting. There are places to go. The HAM-SCI.org is where all this stuff came from. Again, I heard about it. I thought it was a neat, interesting way of involving ham radio with an eclipse. The average, on average, for any one location on Earth for a total eclipse to occur is like 375 years. In Illinois, they got lucky. They got 2017 and 2024 paths crossing in the same place. That is really rare to happen. There's going to be another partial eclipse we'll see in 2 years. And then there's a total eclipse passing through the bottom of the country in 2045, I believe it is. We'll see a partial. So, but again, the next total eclipse in Vermont is not until 2079. So all these sites gives you all the information. The eclipse 2024 and Great American Eclipse. The 2024 site will tell you to give you a simulation of what the eclipse will look like anywhere in the country. So you go to Vermont because we're in the path. You can pick any city in the state, and it'll show you what it's exactly going to look like. It's really cool. My warning: don't miss the eclipse to do radio. If you want to be involved in this, if it's a clear sky, find a way to be outside to do something, or just stop doing it. Don't miss the total eclipse. Again, and if it's clear, if it's cloudy, go outside and experience the darkness anyway, because it's a really, really rare event. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think that's all I had, really. I know. Question, yes.
So there's that experiment to do the QSO party for the eclipse.
Yeah.
Is there any, based on past experience with radios, is there any expectation that some bands will be better or worse, or do you know?
Personally, no, but at the breakfast, there was at least two people who were involved with the 2017 eclipse with this HAM-SCI experiment. So I don't remember what the names were, but Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch.
Someone else who volunteered me for the talk did too, and I can't think of his name.
Yeah, Mitch's gonna get on 80 meters during it. I don't know if he's gonna go out and watch it, but he's gonna get on 80 meters.
I mean, it should be. I imagine it's going to be an abrupt, weird change of some kind.
Yeah, I'm David McGaugh, November 1 Hotel Alpha Charlie. I'm actually the Dartmouth College connection to HAM-SCI.
Yay!
And the changes to the ionosphere are dramatic as it goes over. So it goes basically from daytime propagation to nighttime, and then rapidly changes back. And we've done this and a number of eclipses, but in the United States, we had the 2017 one, we had the one back in October, which was a partial, but it was deep enough that it had dramatic changes. That was an annual, but it was like 99% gone. And it really is quite striking how 20 meters disappears, 80, 40 come in. And and one of the things we say is, even if you don't make a contact, put the signal out there, because we do have the reverse beacon network and other receivers out there listening. And a non-contact is useful information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
And the Gladstone Signal Spotting Challenge, that's an interesting name. Gladstone is the one who started, I think, ESA reporter. Anyway, the idea is that you can either be listening or transmitting. Whisper, you can do FT8, the 4 version. I don't remember the letters.
FT4.
Well, it's not FT4. There's something else that's like a super whisper. But you can either be transmitting or receiving. All of that information is going to be useful to the project. And I do agree with him. If you're in the path of totality, stop transmitting and go outside. It's going to hurt you bad. The changes to the ionosphere are much less. You know, you missed that 4 minutes. Yeah, don't miss that 4 minutes.
You know, if you're operating a vehicle, pull over.
Right.
So is that a Monday?
It's a Monday.
I'll be down or I'll probably be up back into the Wilson by 3 o'clock.
Yes, yeah.
I could set up my station and whisper on 80 meters and just leave the house.
What's the deal with Whisper? I know that a couple of years ago when I read about it, I tried to buy the Whisper device from Solar Eclipse in England or whatever, just on the transmitter. And they were out of stock, unavailable.
It's your own radio and your own antenna. You don't have I'm not sure what you're talking about, but you just download a program.
Oh, so you don't need to buy the special tool for it?
No, download a program.
The idea with those is it's standalone, you don't have to tie up your rig to it, it could just be running continuous. And as it's mentioned, it's very low power. You know, 1 watt or less.
They've been unavailable forever, so.
But there are lots of different versions of it. Tapper sells one. There are other ones. Actually, there's an Arduino version that it just uses a digital output on their Arduino. Produces.
You can set up normal HF radio to transmit it.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
You use time card modes now, like FT8.
That's
ESA 31.
The WSJT that program that we use for FT4 and FT8 also does Whisper. Both transmit and
Yeah, it's automatic. I thought it transmitted, kind of like FT8, like bing, but it does transmit like every, like 5 minutes.
Well, it's a 2-minute cycle.
Right, it's 2 minutes transmitting.
Yeah.
So it's 2 minutes
2
transmitting.
minutes transmitting, but usually 1 to 5. So, well, you can have a switch frequency, usually leave it on frequency, but it'll transmit for 2 minutes, then it'll be down for 8 minutes, and then it'll transmit another 2 minutes. So other carriers come in. One of the simplest things to do during this event is put your receiver on Whisper Receive. The WSJT software automatically uploads your spots, and you can just walk away from it and let it run the eclipse.
Cool. At the 2017 eclipse, I was at the library in Jericho. It was only 50%, 55% coverage. But even with that, I noticed a reduction in the sunlight, and I felt the temperature change when it was maximum. So imagine the total is going to be even more so. It's going to be interesting.
So just a little story. When I was in grade school, there was an eclipse, and I remember I was in 7th grade. I think there was a ficus tree that my science student had his science group, and as it moved through annularity, you could look at the core underneath the ficus tree to see the sunlight change as the sun waxed and waned. See it before and after by looking at the core.
Yep.
Just the light coming through and being diffused through the ficus tree.
Yeah, if you
That's
take
one
a,
of my favorite memories from
you
my
take a sheet or a cardboard or something white, go under a tree during an eclipse, the pinholes through the leaves will create little shadows. They'll all be eclipses.
It was the craziest thing.
It is. It's really wild.
Yeah, bring your aluminum, annual colander.
Well, I have aluminum foil underneath my hat right now.
So I'll also mention, we actually have the HAM-SCI workshop coming up at the end of March,
Cool.
which is, it's gonna be at East Western Reserve in person, but it's also online. So if you're interested in that, or interested in any of this, go to the hamsci.org website. But you can sign up for the workshop. And, don't quote me on this, I think the virtual might be free. But, anyway, it will be online and a long series of, presentations.
Cool. That's great.
2 days, it's Friday, and Saturday, March 22nd, 23rd.
We're delivering presentations to a lot of libraries and a few schools and residences up until they're all mostly during next month. And we got 20 of them just to talk about the eclipse, best way to view it, how to do it safely, and what to expect. It's going to be quite a thing, and there's going to be a lot of people up here. So
A lot of people travel long ways to see it, right?
yeah, I've had people say, "We'll pay you if we come from Boston if you show us the eclipse." I'm busy, sorry. Come on up, bring your money. That's the other thing. The path of totality is also a path of money. Just think of the money people are making on this thing. Oh, that's about all I have. So, any other questions? You can ask him. He knows everything.
Now, let me know if you have any.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glad you're here. Thank you.